Hello, everybody. So the character that I'm gonna talk about is Jia Yinchun. They called her gentle. The world called her prey. Jia Yinchun and the violence of peace. She chose peace. The world chose violence. Someone steal from Yinchun, not her life. Just a gold phoenix, a small ornament, a beautiful thing. A woman in the household has taken it, pawned it, and lost money gambling. Everyone knows. Her maid knows. The thief's family knows. Even the thief knows Intron will probably not fight. That's why the scene is frightening. Not because of the subject, because of what the sept proves. The gold phoenix is only the test. The real question is how much can you take from a person before they finally say no? Within Chun, the answer is almost unbearable. Her maid is furious. She says in effort, they dare to do this because they know what you're like. In Chun answer, forget it. I don't want the phoenix anymore. If the elder asks, I would just say it was lost. That's not peace. That's surrender with good manners, and the whole room knows something. The girl will not defend the line, so the line can move. She's not boring. She's terrifyingly real. People say Incheon has no personality. That's wrong. Her personality is a can many family produce on purpose. The child who doesn't ask for too much. The girl who doesn't talk back. The friend who says it's fine. The employee who say no worry while doing three people's work. The daughter who absorbs everyone's bad mood because someone has to keep dinner from becoming a wardroom. Intrigue is not dramatic, that's the point. Some tragedy doesn't scream, they whisper, it's okay. Never mind, let's not make a scene, I don't want trouble. And because they whisper, everyone calls them peaceful. But peace can be a beautiful word for this experience. The Western question is, why doesn't she just stand up for herself? A modern Western audience may want to shout, girl, say something, set a boundary, get angry, call someone, stop being so passive. That reaction is useful, but it's not enough, because Incheon tragedy is not merely personal weakness. It's cultural training. In many societies, especially for women, dependents, young people, and people without independent money, doing good often means being low friction. Don't make the room uncomfortable. Don't embarrass the family. Don't expose the ugly thing. Don't argue with elders. Don't answer back. Don't become the problem by naming the problem. In Chinese, words like endurance, yielding, preserving harmony it can be noble. A society can't survive without them. But dream of the Ray Chamber asks the question culture often awaits. Who is asked to pay for harmony? Because harmony is not neutral. Sometimes harmony means a powerful person keeps their face. The thief keeps the benefit. The family keeps the surface. And the quiet person loses another piece of herself. The entrance silence is not empty, it's payment. The gold phoenix is a small object with a large shadow. The stolen object is a phoenix that matters. A phoenix is not just jewelry. It carries feminine dignity, rank, auspiciousness, ceremony, beauty. For a girl like her, who has very little active power, objects matter. A room matter. A hair ornament matters. Because these are the small visible signs that see the person has a place. This person is not available for anyone to handle. So when the gold phoenix is taken, the question is not can she afford another one. The question is will anyone pay a price for touching what belongs to her? The answers become so. That's why this scene predicts her whole fate. First they took the phoenix. Later marriage will take the person. The tragedy doesn't begin when the wolf appears. The tragedy begins when everyone knows she will not bite. Her may understand power better than she does. Inchun's may. Xiuju is furious, and she's right. She knows this is not only about one ornament, it's about precedent. The first time someone takes something and nothing happens, the next step to become easier. The first insult without consequence teaches the room how far it may go. Xiuju understand the truth in Chun can't face. Boundaries are not feeling, they are events. A boundary doesn't exist because you quietly wish people would respect it. A boundary exists when something happens if they cross it. That's why Xiuju fights, not because she loves drama, because she can see the future coming. This is a very modern theme. In a workplace, it is the coworker who says, "You need to document this." In a family, it's a cousin who says, "You can't keep letting them talk to you that way." In a relationship, it's a friend who says, "That's not love, that's erosion." And often intern figure says, "Please stop, you're making it worse." But the friend is not making it worse. The friend is refusing to help the lie stay comfortable. Then intern open a moral book. This is the most devastating image. Her mates are arguing, her property has been taken, his dignity to be negotiated in front of her. And Yinchun can't bear the conflict, so she picks up the spring laws treatise on response and retribution. 太上感应篇 and starts reading. She leaves the room without physically leaving it. This is not comic relief, it's horror because she's using morality to exit reality. Modern people do this too. I choose peace. I believe karma will handle it. I'm about this. I don't want negative energy. I don't want to become like them. Sometimes this is wisdom. Sometimes it's spiritual anesthesia. A moral book is supposed to make you more awake. For Yingchun, it becomes a curtain. She doesn't use virtue to act. She uses virtue to await action. That's why this scene is so sharp. She's not peaceful. She's absent from the moment where her own life needs her. So from modern psychology, Yin Chun is it is a form of neurotic submissiveness under basic anxiety. Yin Chun tends to accept stronger authority, suppress her own inner capacity, avoid criticism, and makes herself small. Also, it has something to do with weakened female consciousness, and her distorted use of moral retribution thinking is part of how she rationalizes her own disappearance. That's a key. Intri not just afraid. She built an oral moral explanation for staying afraid. This is much more dangerous. Fear can be challenging, but fear dressed as virtue can feel holy. And once your cage becomes holy, escape starts to look like sin. This is not anti-Chinese culture. It's Chinese culture that criticizing itself. The the point is important. The episode is not saying Chinese culture teaches women to be weak. This is cheap and wrong. Chinese culture gave Tantrum who organized, Wang Xifeng who commands, Bao Chai who understands timing, Dai Yu who refused numbness. The point is more subtle. Every culture has virtues that become dangerous when they lose balance. In the West, independence can become abandonment. Authenticity can become selfishness. Selfishness. Boundary can become emotional laziness. In Yingchun's world, harmony can become cowardice. Endurance can become self-erasure. Goodness can become permission for harm to continue. This is the real cross-cultural exchange. Not East bad, West good, but every civilization has a virtue that can become a trap. Intrinsic the trap of peace. Goodness without a boundary is not goodness yet. Goodness, it's Its softness waiting to be shaped by someone else. Yin Chun doesn't want to hurt anyone, but she feels to protect anyone, not herself, not Xiu Ji, not the truth, not even the basic ideas that stealing from her should matter. She wants to be harmless, but harmlessness is not a virtue. A harmless person can still enable the harm. A quiet person can still abandon the person who needed them to speak. A gentle person can still train predator to come closer. This is why Yin Chun is painful. She's not guilty like a villain. She is not innocent like a child either. Her silence participates, not loudly, not maliciously, but effectively. The marriage is not a twist, it's a logical end. In chapter 5, her fate is foretold by the Zhongshan Wolf image. A heartless beast abuses a noble daughter as if she were slow until her beautiful life is destroyed. Later, chapter 79 announced the marriage in its very title. Jia Yingchun mistakenly marries the Zhongshan Wolf. But this is not just a husband story, it's a transfer story. Marriage is not merely personal romance, it's family arrangement, property logic, status, negotiation. A woman is moved from one household control into another household control. So the real horror is Yingchun couldn't protect the gold phoenix in her own room. Then she's sent to your husband's house. What did anyone think would happen? The novel has already shown us the answer. A person who is never protected where she belongs will not magically become protected where she is transferred. The off is not beginning of the tragedy. The off is the world taking its final permission. Why this? Yingchun is not distant. She is painfully current. She's the person who gets some underpaid because she never negotiates. The person whose family used her because she never refused. The person who stayed in a relationship because living would hurt someone else's feeling. The person who let friends mock her because she wants to be chill. The person who says fine so many times that one day nobody asks whether this is fine. She's not the dramatic victim people notice. She's a slow sacrifice, the one who gets used politely. That's why this episode can hit very hard, because many people knew someone like Yingchun, and many people have been Yingchun. Many people have benefited from someone else being Yingchun. The episode should make viewer uncomfortable. Not only who hurt me, but who become easy around me because I knew they would not fight back. That's a sharp edge. Each person in the garden review a different failure of beauty. Dai shows that sensitivity can't stop loss. Bao Chai shows approval can become a cage. Tan Chun shows that ability can be trapped indoor. Wang Xifeng shows that care can become control. Yin Chun shows that gentleness can be consumed. She's not the most brilliant, not the most poetic, not the most dramatic, but she's necessary because the beautiful world doesn't only feel when strong people are defeated. It feels when quiet people are not defended. The garden was supposed to be a refugee, but even there her things can be taken. Even there her silence is studied. No one can fully teach her to occupy her own life. That's why she matters. She is the shadow of the garden. The girl who proves beauty doesn't automatically create safety. Jia Yingchun did not lose because she was cruel. She lost because she mistook not fighting for being good. She chose peace. But peace without power is any permission for someone else to continue. First they took the gold phoenix, then they took the life, and in between she opened a moral book and vanished from the scene of her own defense. That's her tragedy. No, not one explosion. A serious moral permission, a boundary enough defended. Accept forgiven. A quarrel avoided. A silence praised. A marriage arranged. A wolf admitted. The world didn't break her all at once. It pressed on her silence first. She was not too gentle. She was left undefended. That's for this episode. I really hate the noise outside. I forgot to shut the window. I'm sorry about that. It won't happen again. I'll see you next time.